Hello everyone, welcome to the show. My name is Amanda Ostrander. I am a teacher turned homeschool mom, and this is Raising A to Z, a place where we talk about all things homeschooling. And today we're going to handle the question, what do you do when you're in a slump? Slumps happen, particularly the mid-year slump. In the middle of the year, things kind of go awry. I find a lot of Canadians in particular, or people who live in kind of colder climates, that slump often hits kind of between January and March. And it's a bit of a go. It feels rough. Like in your heart, you're just like, ugh, you feel like you're dragging. There's a lot of reasons for this. One, it's flipping cold outside. Like it was minus 32 this morning. I don't like that. I don't want to do anything when it's that cold outside. That just sucks. Then when it's that cold, you can't even send the kids outside because even if they're outside for like 5 minutes, it's too cold. They spend more time getting dressed than they do actually playing outside. They come inside and they haven't burned any energy. They're bouncing off the walls. There's that. Okay. Then it's dark. The sun doesn't rise until 7:30 in the morning and it's setting by like 5 o'clock, 5:30. Whatever. It's dark. Like by the time you're like, okay guys, school's done and whatever, like it's dark. And that sucks. Like doesn't make you happy. There's also the issue of there's like not a ton of holidays or breaks between January and March. Like really, like there's not much. I know that we have like Valentine's Day, but that's not an official holiday. There's Family Day in Canada, depending on where you are. But even then, that's just like a one little day. And I don't know, Family Day is a weird holiday, in my opinion. Like it just feels like it's there and no one really knows what to do with it. Like it's not like there's a big celebration happening, right? Like it's just a day off. It's weird. And then, St. Patrick's Day is the same as Valentine's. It's not like an official thing. There's no break for it. So really, like, you don't really get a break until Easter, really, which can be as late as April, depending on, the way the moons go, right? So, it's a long time without a really great break. It's a long, dark, cold time without a really great break. And, it's usually like the excitement of the new year has worn off. You're also coming down off the high of Christmas or the holidays. It's a rough kind of go, and knock on wood, somebody's going to get sick, which just throws everything off, right? Like, we're going to have at least 1 or 2 weeks where everyone's going to be like done in the bed, on the couch, sick. And that sucks. So like, it is just like it's not a great time, and everyone hates it and everyone's mad, and it is what it is, right? It sucks. So a lot of people just, have a hard time when it comes to this season, and that is reflected in their homeschooling, their attitude towards their homeschooling, the kids' attitude towards homeschooling. All of this comes to a head and it pushes you into a bit of a slump. You're a little bit bored. You're a little bit irritated. It's the same thing again and again, day after day. The monotony starts to get to you. The kids start to revolt. Everyone's irritated and sick and tired and over-energized. And it becomes a bit of a weird time. So what do you do? First off, hitting a slump is very normal. It is not like an unusual thing. A lot of people, like I said, hit the slump at this time of year. So don't worry if you're like, I have been feeling exactly this. I am uninspired. We're bored. We're annoyed with what we have. I'm not loving my curriculum right now. That is normal. That is the slump talking. Don't buy new curriculum. It is what it is. Okay? Like it is what it is. It's normal. Everyone feels it at some point. Whether the only thing that we can control today is whether it's going to last just today or if it's going to become a bigger issue and last multiple weeks. Okay? So like, let's take control and find ways to get out of a slump. Okay? So how are we going to get out of a slump if we're in a slump? Number one, we can lean into it. I know that doesn't make any sense, but in the winter, I have found that leaning into it can actually make it feel better. Hear me out. We have kind of taken to like doing, I call it like hibernation homeschooling. So there are days where we like do all the cozy hibernation-y type things. So I let my kids wear fuzzy pajamas during the day and they don't have to change. I make them tea or cocoa while we're doing our schoolwork. We watch a lot more documentaries and we light candles, and I let them bring blankets to the table to wrap themselves in a blanket while they're doing their schoolwork. Like, we kind of lean into hibernating a little bit and enjoying the fact that it's cold and cozy and doing the things that make it special. Like, we're not going to be drinking cocoa, you know, when we're doing school in May. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But right now, if that's what it takes to get through these winters and making it exciting, then so be it. I leaned into it so far that like my kids have special mugs at this point. I just purchased not one, but 2 cans of Cool Whip, whipped cream topping, that one, to put on cocoa. Because like some days that's what's keeping us going, and that's okay. We're leaning into it. We're making it cozy. We're doing like all the things that just make us feel warm and cozy, and it does help. So, you know, hibernate while you're homeschooling. It works. We do a lot more like board games. We play a lot more video games. I know. I let the kids play more video games. I know, screen time, whatever. It's the middle of winter and they can't go inside. So like we find like some really cool like cooperative games on the Switch. And they, you know, we do like Mario Kart competitions, and we, you know, have like, we just have find ways to make it fun in the house and do the things that we can only do because it's winter. And that has really helped us kind of embrace the frigid cold and darkness of this mid-year time. And because we're embracing it in other aspects, we don't worry so much about it in the school. And so we don't feel the slump as hard. So, you know, try it. The other thing you can do if you are in a slump is get out of your house. I mean it. It can be very easy to take the hibernation a little too far, I will say, and just not leave your house. And that is all good and well to enjoy hibernating, but we also need to get out and see people and socialize. And especially if you have a more social kid, that can, if you're not leaving the house, can really backfire. So find ways to get out of your house more frequently. Maybe it's you sign up for a special class that you're just going to, you know, a 12-week session during, you know, this time of year. Maybe it is setting up a weekly play date with your friends. Maybe it's going to go do homeschooling once a week at a coffee shop. Play dates, going skating, going on a field trip. Finding something that you can do outside of your house on a regular basis and I like to say a regular basis because it gives you something to do to break up your week, which can be really, really good. Especially if you're starting to feel like things are very monotonous. It gives you something to like look forward to. Like, oh, we're going to see all of our friends on Thursday at co-op. Like, that's something we can do. And so that when we're stuck at home on Monday and Tuesday was a snow day and Wednesday was also a snow day, like Thursday, I know that like we can actually get somewhere and see people and the days don't feel quite as long. Find ways to get out on a regular basis. And sometimes it's as simple as like finding a way to switch things up a little bit. We've been embracing our local arena's public skating, like free public skating hour that happens on Fridays, and going skating. And that has just been like a fun little, you know, we go skate for 45 minutes or an hour, whatever it ends up being. And we just like skate around and chit chat, and Zoe loves it. She like sits there and holds my hand to the point where like she's holding my hand and telling me like everything she wants to tell me, like 1,000 stories while we're skating. And to the point where like my one side, I was telling my husband like my one butt cheek is just burning because I'm always like hunched over. But anyway, we've been enjoying that, and it's gotten us out of the house. It's getting us to do something, and it's been like really good for our mental health. Other thing that you can do is like, if you're like, hey, meeting up for play dates, or if you have a co-op, try doing something different. Try taking them to an outdoor rink or going sliding instead of your regular like co-op meetups. Our co-op meets at a little like community clubhouse that has like an outdoor space, but the clubhouse itself is like way too small for the number of kids we have in the winter. So if everyone had to be inside, we'd be crammed. So over the winter, we actually just go to our local community center and pay the local, like the family rate, which is I think $5 a family. And then we get to go in and we use the gym, and we have like the gym, and we all have kind of purchased different things, but like one lady has a parachute and some skipping ropes. I have a bunch of like dodgeballs that I've purchased. They play different kinds of tag, and then we have like the basketballs, and it's just something different for the kids for a couple of weeks that they get to get out and do something different. And that has really been helping us beat the slump during these like really cold months. If you're like, hey, I need to do something academically to like help us beat the slump, let me suggest a novel study. There's great novels out there. Like, I think we all know that. But sometimes having like a really amazing novel study and leaning into it and like making that like your focus for a couple weeks is just enough to like kickstart things with your kids' brains and all of that. And if you're in a slump, my recommendation is to pick a novel that has a movie version. Hear me out. It is the easiest activity you can do. You read the book, you watch the movie, you make a Venn diagram, and you compare them. Oh my goodness. It is like the easiest activity. They are hooked. They love it. And it's just something, it gives you like something else to do, right? There's so many great book and movie adaptations. Off the top of my head, How to Train Your Dragon. The book and the movie are basically nothing alike, which throws the kids so much. They're both excellent separately. And now you have the book, you have the cartoon movie, and now you have the live action CGI movie. So like you could do like a triple Venn diagram, which would be cool. Other books that we've done that have movies that we've loved. Obviously we could do something like Harry Potter. You could do something like Narnia. We just did that. That was really good. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. We're doing Percy Jackson right now. Fantastic. The first one, because they have Percy Jackson the book, there's Percy Jackson the movie, and then Disney also has Percy Jackson the TV show. Again, triple Venn diagram here, people. Kids are obsessed. So, novel study, bonus if you can find one that has a movie adaptation. It just like, and you can just rope everything in and kids love it. Kind of in the same vein, but slightly different. If you're not a unit studies person, try them. Take a month and just say, hey, we're just going to dive into this one topic for a month. Like, back off of everything else and just do something different for a month. Unit studies are a great option. If you are already a unit study person, like myself, pick something that you think your kids are like. Obviously, we pick things we think our kids are going to like. I personally try to put the most exciting unit study at this time of year. Because I just know we're going to need a pick-me-up, and I'm going to need something that I'm like, do you guys want to go learn about this? And they'll be like, yes, that's what I'm looking for. A unit study can be a great way to just do something different. Especially like you're like, hey, we're just going to take a month off of like our language and our math, and we're going to like pick a topic, maybe do like a unit study with a novel study that kind of goes together, like where you're doing ancient Greek gods and ancient Greece while doing Percy Jackson. So they kind of like go together. It's awesome. Because then I'm like, if we don't do this, we've done some history, we've done some social studies, we've done some language, and we haven't really done anything else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, we got through a lot. Everyone's excited. Everyone's happy. Sometimes it's just pulling it all together and letting go of a few of the more like difficult subjects for like 2 or 3 weeks can be a huge lifesaver and gets you out of that slump. Gets everyone excited again and gets you out of the slump. You can have your kids do a passion project. This is, how do I say this? This was a big thing, or it was supposed to be the next big thing in education, was passion projects. And I think some people did it, some people didn't. In public school systems, it's very difficult to make it work. Trust me. But passion projects as homeschoolers is phenomenal. Basically, you let your kids pick whatever topic they want, and they have to teach you about something that they've learned. So this could be a variety of things, and they get to come up with what it's going to be. Maybe they are going to do a slideshow presentation on everything they know about snakes. My daughter's obsessed with snakes right now. So like maybe that's going to be her passion project. And so she's going to tell me, she's going to have to do all the research. She's going to have to find all the pictures, type it up. We use some computer skills to make the slideshow and find the images. Like there's a lot of like things that can go into that. Maybe they want to make a movie. Alexi loves to make movies. So maybe she's going to make a movie documentary about everything she's learned about, I don't know. She's gonna make some kind of documentary. Maybe your kids want to make a poster board about everything they know about the anatomy of a volcano and everything they know about volcanoes, and then also like make an actual volcano. I've known people who have done like baking where their kids like baked, or cooking where their kids spent time and did like learned how to make an entire meal. That's pretty cool. Let them pick a topic, and instead of saying, okay, we're going to do this, like we're doing math and we're doing science and we're doing history and we're doing language, let them pick a topic and work at making their final presentation and learning everything they need to know, and then teaching you about it and like having to stand up and tell you about everything they learned. That's a pretty cool idea. It's a great way to break up the monotony, and you can give them however long of a time frame you want. You want to give it to them for a week or two? Sure. You can take a whole month if you wanted and do like a much bigger project, especially if they were older. You could let them dive way deep into something and come up with something crazy. And this is like a perfect example of like a learning skill, like learning how to do research, learning how to maybe use a computer or a project, and learning all these different skills that need to go into like doing something, but it's not like math. It's not history. It's not like a lesson based learning. It's kind of this like whole brain learning. And so like that can be a great option if you're like, I just need to do something different. And lastly, the last thing you do to help you break a slump is you could take a break. There's no reason why you can't give yourself a break. There's no reason. I remember when I was in university, we got reading weeks, right? Like, so my university had a fall reading week, which was like mid October. And then we had another one in February where we had a week off of school, and it was supposed to be like a week to read and do our homework and just catch up on things. And that was considered good for our mental health. That was one of the reasons why they had them, was because it was good for students' mental health. Awesome. Love that for me. But we can also apply that to us as homeschoolers. There's no reason why we can't take a break in February for a week. If the universities are doing it, and there's no reason why we shouldn't do it. So you could take a break. You could take a couple days. You could give yourself long weekends. You could just say, we're going to take a whole week off. In fact, we've been doing this thing this year where I've been doing like a 1 week break at the end of every unit. So like, let's say our unit takes us like 4 weeks, take a week off. And then our next unit takes us 5 weeks, do the 5-week unit, and then take a week off. And it has helped us so much because it gives me a week where I can go and catch up on the things that I haven't gotten to do. So I can do a little bit more house chores. I can do a little bit more, clean up. I can run a few more errands, do a project that I need to do around the house, like whatever. And it's not like, I don't feel like I'm drowning. The kids get a little bit more downtime. They get a little more freedom. They can have an extra play date. Like, it's been really nice. So you can totally just take a break. That's also a great option. A slump doesn't need to be the end of your homeschooling year. You can totally beat the slump. You can find ways to kind of reinvigorate and re-energize your homeschooling. And I hope that I gave you some great tips on how to do that. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell. Consider becoming a member because they get cool bonus content. I give them like detailed breakdowns of like what we did in our unit studies to help you be able to do that for yourself if that was something you want to do. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, where you can see what we're doing to help beat the slump and keep the winter blues at bay. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.